The Gospel of Astonishment. The astonishingly crazy, unbelievable, jaw-dropping, gobsmacking, shockingly spectacular, exquisitely beautiful truth about the nature of reality. Written by James Vincent Plath. Narrated by Ninette Terhart. Doug Dream Dialogue 1. Everything plus the kitchen sink. James playfully enters the dream world of his good friend, the brilliant physicist and cognitive scientist, Douglas Hofstadter. James: Well, hello there. Doug: James, that's funny. What are you doing here in Bloomington? James smiles. I'm not really in Bloomington right now, Doug, although I certainly do appear to be. Doug: Sure you are. This is my house. You are sitting in my kitchen table in my house in Bloomington, Indiana. By the way, why are you sitting at my kitchen table in my house? How did you even get in here? James: I suppose this visit is what you would call a pop-in. Doug: Ah, I see. Smiles. Next, you're going to tell me that this is all just a dream, right? That's why you aren't really in Bloomington, Indiana. You're going to tell me we're in pure consciousness right now, the one infinite imagination. James: You're quick, Doug Hofstadter. You're good. That's why I always say you know the truth. You just don't know that you know the truth. Doug: Gee, thanks. Thanks a lot. And next you're going to knock on this very table. Doug knocks on the wooden table. James knocks on the table, copycatting Doug. Doug: Yep. And you are going to insist that this table is really made up of empty space. And then you're going to ask why I don't just go all the way with you on this and claim that the table is really made up of consciousness. And why won't I just admit that matter, all matter, is really just consciousness, an illusion of the one infinite imagination. That matter is really consciousness. James: In disguise. Doug: In disguise. James beaming. Whew, couldn't have said it better myself, Doug. Doug staring intensely at James. How did you get in here? I didn't hear a knock. James: You sure about that? Knocks on the table again. Perhaps we should have a cup of tea, Doug. This is going to take some time to unravel. Doug: Tea? Ooh, good idea. You read my mind. James looks at the reader. Yes, you. Smiles again. Doug, putting the teapot on the stove very carefully. Well, here I am putting the dream tea into the dream teapot and placing the dream teapot onto the imaginary dream stove. James smiles. Bingo. Doug shaking his head. Hard to believe. James: Impossible to believe. See, Doug, belief is the real problem here. Belief is what holds you here in the dream. Belief is what makes the world appear to be solid. Doug: I find that very hard to believe. The teapot whistles instantly. Doug laughs as he serves the tea. James: The Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh suggests that you drink your tea slowly and reverently, as if it is the axis on which the world earth revolves, slowly, evenly, without rushing toward the future. Doug: I like that. So what's on the other side of the dream? James: To truly awaken is to crucify the ego, Doug. The ego causes all of our suffering, forcing us to make believe we are separate from our true nature, which is pure consciousness, which is what God really is, pure love, wholeness. The ego is what the devil really is. It's tremendously cunning, and it doesn't want to dissolve, ever. So we must crucify it. Doug: So you're saying that once we get a true glimpse of who and what we really are, we begin a crucifixion of the ego. Thus, we begin to end all of our suffering. James: Exactly that. You learn and master how to stay in the now, which is ever-present bliss, which is heavenly, and how to not imagine you are elsewhere, which is a hellish state of mind. And you learn to abide in your true nature, which is pure Buddha consciousness, pure Christ mind. And this is truly the end of suffering. Doug: And this crucifying of the ego, this is human suffering? James: Yes, it's one thing to think there is no ego or no self. It is another to know that there is no self. The trick is to experience it. The crucifixion of the ego will indeed hurt as you strip away all of your attachments and illusions, all that is not you. Everything must go. Only then will you know pure joy. Doug: What I call Plath's wager. Give up the world, give up everything, and you will inherit nothing, which is then really everything. As you put it, you have everything to lose and nothing to gain. James: Yes, the infinite reward. James holds his teacup up high as if making a toast. And let's remember the words of another great Zen master, D.T. Suzuki, who said, "Who would then deny that when I am sipping tea in my tea room, I am swallowing the whole universe with it, and that this very moment of my lifting the bowl to my lips is eternity itself, transcending time and space?" Whew! Doug: Very nice. I like that. James takes a big sip of his tea. What a talk we will have, my friend. Walks over to the sink. I'm going to throw everything at you this time, including this. James reaches down and easily pulls the entire sink out of the wall and whirls around and throws it at Doug's head. Doug wakes up in his bed in a bit of a sweat. Wow, that really was a dream? Holy smokes. It seems so real. The table, the tea. The only way I could tell it actually was a dream was to wake up from it. Doug laughs in astonishment. In the background, he faintly hears what seems to be the whistling of a tea kettle. Oh no, can't be.